I used to think that life after 50 was going to be a slow decline. I honestly was starting to get tired. I felt invisible, and I had habits that I felt as though were no longer serving me. And here's the thing, I have started to realize that this age is going to be my second half. It's going to be my next chapter. And I started to notice that certain things needed to change, and I started to make those changes. So, over the last several years, I started to realize that midlife is not the end. It's just your next chapter. And today I'm going to share with you 7 habits that I started to change, and it has made my life so much better. And honestly, it's brought me to a place that I am finally finding peace in my life. So, habit number 1, I will call the morning pause. I take the time. I don't look at my phone for a while. I get up in the morning. I go for a walk. I love the quiet time, the peaceful morning. I get up early. I've always enjoyed that, especially since I've been sober, and I get up feeling good and refreshed after a good night's sleep, and I just like that quiet time in the morning at 5 or 5:30, and to sit in peace. I like watching the news too, but some mornings I just sit and I read or I journal, and it just makes it a good start to the day. So, number 2 is decluttering my space. Within the last 6 months, I have sold a home that I lived for almost 20 years. It's where I raised my son as a single mom. And I had to declutter that home before I moved. It just sort of gave me that push to do that. And I'll tell you what, it was more challenging than I expected. A lot of emotions come up when you're decluttering after having accumulated things for so many years. And I made myself do it. And I'll tell you what, it felt so good afterwards. But you go through certain emotions when decluttering. At least for me, I'm sensitive. I had an emotional attachment to a lot of things. My son's toys, things that he drew when he was younger, in school, things, just things like that. I had an attachment to, and I had a really difficult time letting go of some of those things. I was able to donate some things of his, some things of mine, and some household things that I just didn't use anymore. But I really dealt with some emotions, and especially with things that I had that were my mother's or my brother's that, they have since passed away. But it's just really difficult to get rid of things and to figure out what you're going to do with those. A lot of things I took pictures of. Some things I did have to keep because they just were too special to me. I didn't keep many things, but I'll tell you, once I got through that decluttering and got rid of a lot of stuff and downsized to, I'm living in an apartment currently, temporarily, until I find a house in this rural area that I want to live. But I'll tell you what, it was so freeing, and it really, really makes you feel good when you get rid of that clutter. And there's so many things that you realize that you don't really need. So, habit number 3 is intentional movement and taking better care of myself. I'm still working on this, but I can tell you, as I have gotten older, you start to realize that, okay, you want to live as long as possible, and you want to be healthy, and you want to be able to get around and be independent. Especially in my case, I am single, and my son, who is now 20 years old, is likely going to be going out on his own, and he has his own life, and right now it's just me, and that could be the case for the rest of my life. And you really have to, you really realize that you have to take care of yourself, and you want to be able to get around and to do things as long as possible. And I likely will be living by myself in the future, so you just have to be intentional about how you feel and how you take care of yourself. And I've started walking. I did it years ago and had lost some weight and just got out of the habit. But I'm being intentional about doing that. Walking. I want to start strength training, and and I just want to feel better. And habit number 4 is reevaluating my relationship with alcohol. In my younger days, I drank a lot. I had a bit of a problem. I came to the point where I was drinking on a daily basis, and I did that for a while, and it wasn't a good situation. So I had to reevaluate my relationship with alcohol, and really, it just did not serve me anymore. It was not a good thing. So when you're younger, if you enjoy drinking, you don't really think about the effects that it has on your health and how it makes you feel. But I can tell you, as you get older, the alcohol just affects you differently, especially with women. I know for myself, I was in a bad situation. I was drinking on a daily basis, and it just was not good. It started to affect my health. It started to affect my relationships and things like that. And I really had to take a step back and, do some work on myself with that. And I quit drinking on a daily basis. And I'll tell you what, life is so much better, and I feel so much better. And like I said, as you get older, the alcohol just affects you differently, and you can't, your body just handles it differently, and it's not a good thing. So I can tell you how much better I feel now. So this next habit changed everything, and that's saying no to people, setting boundaries. I have for my entire life been a people pleaser, and never wanted to say no to anybody, and I didn't want anybody to be mad at me or anything like that. And I really have evaluated that, and I have situations. If I don't want to do something, I'm going to politely say no. I'm sorry. I can't do that. Thank you or whatever. And if somebody invites me out to some place and I don't want to go, I'm going to say no, thank you, and maybe next time. But I really have learned to do that and set some boundaries, because my peace is important, and that's something that I realized. And number 6 is seeking solitude. So my personality is an introvert, which means that I'm okay being alone. I'm independent. I don't like being around crowds or anything like that. And if I do, it affects my energy. And I still do it. I mean, there's situations where you're still going to be around a lot of people and things like that. But most situations where I'm by myself. And like I said, I'm a single mom. I live alone. My son is out and about, living his life, and I'm okay with that. I am okay with the peace of being by myself and doing what I want to do at times. And, on a Saturday, if I want to go thrifting or to an antique shop and get some coffee or go for a drive, I am okay doing that by myself, and I enjoy it. So, just find peace in that solitude, and that really has changed my life. So habit number 7 is just realizing how grateful I am for my life. I was in survival mode for such a long time in my 40s, and a big part of my 50s as I tried to raise my son the best that I could as a single mom. I struggled financially for a long time and struggled with anxiety and depression. I survived breast cancer, and I am now at a point in my life where I am finding peace, and it's my next chapter. It's a place where I guess this time's for me, but I am grateful for my life and everybody around me, my son, my friends, and things like that. So I make it a point to to either journal about it or just pray about it, and I'm just grateful. So these habits did not happen overnight. It was a slow process, and I have finally found me again and found a place where I am at peace. So just share with me in the comments which one of these habits or any other habits you are finding or have found this time in your life. I would love to hear about it. And go ahead and watch my prior video where I talk about how I thought alcohol helped me until I got sober. And I will see you next time.